Sportsbook. Use code DNVR when you sign up for a new account to get amazing odds boosts every single day. Rudo, Meghan, and Jesse coming at you live before the final game of the regular season. We finally made it. Feels like it's been an eternity.
Dude, so Peter Baugh was tweeting about that yesterday or 2 days ago. Does this, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're playing 82 games for the first time in 2 years.
Yeah.
Training camp seems like forever ago.
A different millennium.
Dude, I remember, AJ and I were down in Arizona for the rookie tournament. The fact that was before this season is just wild.
It genuinely feels like a different year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess technically it was, but yes.
A different year of hockey.
Yeah.
It's hard to remember that far back. I will say, if the Avs lose tonight, they do go 4-5-1 in their last 10. Same way they started the season.
Yep.
And the last time they went 4-5-1, they lost like 4 games over the next 2 months. So
setting up pretty nice, yeah.
Maybe not the worst thing in the world to repeat the first 10 games of the season here. Obviously, this game is going to look ridiculous. No Makar, no MacKinnon. Kemper's not even backing up. It's Francouz with Annan called up.
Yeah, and who does St. Louis have tonight? Vegas, LOL.
Yep.
So they start at 6, so same time as the Avs. So this game very much means something for Minnesota. I think they really want home ice.
They definitely want home ice against that team.
I don't know. I guess we've seen a couple teams pull it off this week, but you have to expect that this probably goes not great for the Avs, right?
I certainly don't expect anything from them.
Yeah,
is how I would put it. I don't know, Meghan. Have you had the chance to see much Jacob McDonald since the injury?
Oh, he's looked great.
Okay.
I don't think he'll be an issue. And I think he'd probably see this as an exciting opportunity to play his best. But Minnesota's just been on a tear, so they're peaking at the right time of the year for them. So it's just going to be hard.
Yeah. Leave it to the NHL. The two hottest teams down the stretch are St. Louis and Minnesota, and they get each other in round 1.
Right.
So just kind of the way it goes sometimes.
No lineups yet. I was just trying to see if we knew for sure.
Yeah.
Who all they were holding out.
I don't know how accurate this is, but I saw they were going to have Tyson Jost on the top line with Kaprizov. I don't know if that's real.
I hope it's real.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
I don't think he's done very. I mean, I'm going to say that and he'll go off for 2 goals. But be careful. There's some sauce on your finger. I don't want you to get that in your eye.
Ooh,
I saw it on the way up, and I was like, no.
Spend the rest of the show
like this. Yeah.
Oh, that'd have been brutal.
I was actually just looking at it the other day. Tyson Jost, he had a game last week where he played 8 minutes.
And he's been pretty consistently getting like 4th-line minutes over there.
And it's like, wow, that was quick that you guys changed your tone on him really fast. It was, we think he's way underutilized. He's just not getting enough minutes. We're going to give him time. And then he was actually... He averaged like 7 minutes fewer a game than he was averaging in Colorado last week.
Yikes.
Yeah, not great.
It hasn't been an easy transition, we'll put it that way.
Minnesota sitting guys would be weird, though. That'd just be... that'd be an interesting decision to me.
Definitely.
If they were to do that. Because, I mean, I don't know. They haven't had any luck. I think they won 3 more overtime games in the last week. Mm-hmm. They've beaten St. Louis once in their last 14 tries. I feel like
it's pretty rough.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll be. I guess I won't be floored, but I would be a little surprised if Minnesota wasn't doing everything in their power to win this game tonight.
Right.
You know,
they have a 1-point lead going into tonight, correct? Or is it? Or are they tied?
I want to say they're back tied. Oh no! Wow. I am very sorry. They are 2 points up on St. Louis.
So
they need an overtime. An overtime win. So, okay. All right. I stand corrected. I thought it was only 1 point. I don't know. Maybe then I guess seeing as what the Avs are icing, maybe you do sit a guy or 2.
Try to squeak by a little bit here and there. Someone with a nag and something. On the Wild side of this, we've talked about this a little bit before, but this is a potential second round opponent for the Avs, assuming they get there, yada, yada, yada. When you look at this team, what are the strengths you're worried about if you're Colorado?
You go first, because I
strengths in Minnesota.
Yes,
probably have a bad answer.
What are Minnesota's strengths that you're focusing on if you're Colorado? What are you trying to stop?
Kaprizov.
Start and end of list. Kaprizov kind of feels like it, to be honest.
I think too, just looking at how they've been playing the last couple games, avoiding the way that penalties were called last night with frequency for both teams would be something that I would want to avoid if I'm Colorado. That's something that Minnesota has been doing pretty well on recently, killing penalties and capitalizing on the power play. So if I'm the Avalanche, I want to play a disciplined game, stay healthy. That's probably my top.
The usual culprits for the past 2 weeks, basically.
Basically.
Are you talking about tonight or in a potential series?
I mean both, but
okay. Well, say because I don't know, man. For me, we've talked about it a bunch this year that I really do think past Colorado and Calgary, you're looking at a lot of teams in the West who have a lot of flaws. Minnesota, I think you and I were the ones that agreed on this earlier in the year when we were talking about it. They remind me a lot of the 13-14 Avs.
Yep.
In that you have the high-end talent. Kirill Kaprizov is very, very good. Very good. Really like him as a player. And then you've got a bunch of good NHLers who are having great years. Career years in the late stages of their career. Goligoski, Zuccarello, Hartman,
Fiala.
Right, where it's like these are established NHL guys who are suddenly just going nuts. You can give some credit to Kaprizov. You give a lot of the credit to how hard they work. And with teams like that, like you said, Meghan, you have to take care of those guys at the top because theoretically for a team like the Avs who are as deep as they are, you should be able to match up with that pretty well. And you have to put distance between yourself and those types of teams. Again, go back to that 13-14 playoff run. I think 3 of those games, the Avs came back in like spectacular fashion to win.
Yep.
And teams like this, they thrive on momentum. We remember that game earlier this year where the Avs beat Minnesota in overtime in Minnesota. That game got to overtime because the Avs would get up by 1 and Minnesota just kept coming back. You have to get up, you have to build a lead, and you have to play sound defense, and you just can't allow them to get rolling. Because if they get rolling, they've got that like magic sauce that's going for them this year where they lead the league in empty net goals. I think they are 14 or 15-1 in 3-on-3 overtime. Like everything is broken their way, so you just have to trust that you can beat them with your depth. And once you get that lead, you have to trust that defensive process. Past that, I really don't like. Minnesota doesn't scare me that much. I don't think their goaltending's way overblown. And I think that when you truly drill down to it, they don't have as much depth as it is kind of perceived because like Alex Goligoski being almost like a 30-40 point guy, it's like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
With Minnesota, it just, the same words I was saying throughout the entirety of December for every Avalanche player where I was like, it's not sustainable. Logan O'Connor can't keep scoring shorthanded goals.
Yeah.
That's how this season feels like to Minnesota.
For Minnesota, yeah.
It's just not sustainable.
Right. Well, and it really felt like they got away with it last year because of the divisional setup. And it was like Colorado, Vegas, and then someone else was going to jump in and take that next spot. And again, Minnesota's not a bad team.
No.
But I just think that, like you said, there's just so much going on where it's like, it was like when William Karlsson scored 40 goals the first year in Vegas. It's like, dope. That's sick. That's awesome for you guys.
Dude couldn't miss. He'll never do it again.
Out of your mind if you think. And I kind of get the same vibes from Matt Duchene. Like watching him last night, he looked really good. Like there was a couple of those where it's like, come on, that puck's not sticking to you next year. Like you're not going to walk through those guys like that. The goal he scores, floats it in. Darcy Kemper never sees it.
Yeah.
And again, like, you don't take anything away from him. He put the puck on net, but it's like, those are the ones where you say you can't count on that type of stuff going in. And when a lot of those are going in, that's kind of how Minnesota's season feels.
It does feel like it would be hard to sustain some of the firepower through a playoff series.
Right.
They have a lot of wonderful parts, and they've been able to slay some really big teams this season. Mm-hmm. But I think it would be hard for them back-to-back games in a playoff series to keep that momentum the way they have at points this season.
Well, it's again, I don't want to like beat this horse to death, but 13-14 Abs had a lot of these same characteristics where it was so fun and it was so high flying, and they came back in games and it was exciting, and like everything you just said, and it's all, there's a legitimacy to all of it because like you've got good players and
Definitely.
stuff. But what you saw in that series was when you get down to 7 games where you have to beat the same team over and over, it's just hard to sustain that. Like you said, forget across a season, but just across 7 games where it's like, it's hard to remanufacture that luck and that momentum every single night if you aren't, sorry.
It's dangerous over here.
Doing like what LA did in 2012, where you're getting out of every round in 4 or 5 games. You don't allow it to catch up with you, and you get a couple breaks along the way. It's hard to momentum your way through the playoffs.
We do need to move on here, as we did start a little bit late. The other side of this game that I want to talk about, Meghan, I know you said rule number 1, no injuries. But it was being talked around in the fan base today. Do the Avs remember Jordan Greenway a little bit? He's run into Darcy earlier in the season. There's always been a little friction between these two teams.
Right.
Again, potential second round, could be on a collision course. Is there any thoughts of either team sending a message tonight?
I think it would be really reckless from either team to do it, especially with proximity to playoffs for both of them. The injury it poses, like it's a, because we saw was it MacKinnon and Matt
Dumba? Yeah, it was Dumba. Yeah.
I just would hate to see something even close to that happening tonight if tensions began to rise. I think it would be reckless. I would hope that they don't do that.
Yeah, Minnesota's got a 2-point lead, so I think that's kind of one of those things where it's like, hey, we show up and we play a good game and hope that things kind of fall where they may. If this is a first round matchup, I think you could see some of that, but I think reckless is a perfect word for that. Or it's like anybody that's going out there to do that, bad situational awareness. You just said Jordan Greenway, and I want to ask you guys because I laughed out loud when I heard it. Michael Russo, who covers the Wild, I believe for The Athletic, right? Is he with The Athletic?
I'm pretty sure he is now, yeah.
A lot of Avs fans know and hate him on Twitter.
Oh, boy.
But he was on NHL Network yesterday, and he described Jordan Greenway as a legitimate Selke candidate. And that just, it made me stop in my tracks what I was doing.
And go, what?
Because the dude's got 8 goals.
Jordan, the perfect word to explain Jordan Greenway is the same word we've been using. Reckless.
Yeah. I heard that and I was like, I guess he's hard on the forecheck.
He brings a physical presence. I don't think he plays particularly good defense.
But a Selke candidate?
I'd have to look at the numbers, but
like you're talking about a guy who's exceeded 8 goals once in his career, and you want to say he's legitimately in the conversation with Patrice Bergeron? I just want to make sure, and I'm glad you guys both look confused because I just want to make sure that there wasn't some like secret crazy good Jordan Greenway like highlight reel I had missed.
Where does Nichushkin fall on Russo's?
I was gonna say if Jordan Greenway's a legitimate Selke candidate, then Val Nichushkin should have the last 2
running away with.
Yeah. Like I just wanted to make sure it wasn't just me that like wasn't aware of some crazy Jordan Greenway hype.
Either way, Ian saying maybe he was talking about Eriksson Ek, who...
Well, he said Eriksson Ek and Jordan Greenway. He specifically called them both out, saying that they're in the Selke conversation.
I think there's more of a case for Eck than Greenway. I'll put it. I don't think Eck should be a Selke finalist or anything.
Right.
But he plays quality defense.
To group Greenway in there.
Right.
Just throw him in.
Yeah.
It's tough for. I'm trying to wrap my head around it.
I'm looking up his Corsi numbers at least. So maybe like.
So I would say maybe he's just like off the charts.
I don't watch the Wild regularly.
Right.
So maybe there's something I've missed.
But again, I mean,
I feel like if it was that good, it'd be hard to miss.
Know,
but yeah.
Right, and to be in that conversation with as little production as he's got,
he's
like
a negative Corsi player. Get out of here.
Yeah, like you'd have to be so I'm talking like less than a half dozen Corsi events against with his production to be in the Selke conversation. And as a winger, I just thought it was crazy. We can move on. I just thought
definitely.
I just wanted to make sure. Again, I made the reference. I felt like Mugatu. Like I was just like, this is wild. I can't believe what I'm hearing right now. But we can move on.
Yeah. On to the last bit. I want to talk about Nashville. Currently sits 1 point lead over Dallas. If Nashville even gets an OT loss tonight, they clinch the 7th seed, which means the Avs would play Dallas. If Nashville loses and Dallas wins in any fashion, the Avs get Nashville. Dallas is playing Anaheim, and Nashville is playing Arizona tonight. Dallas is rested. Nashville is not, obviously, playing last night against Colorado. I've asked everyone before who they want. Now I'm going to ask, who do you think they get?
I think they'll get Dallas.
I still think it's Dallas.
Okay.
Which I don't think you're worried about either one. Honestly, I really don't. Again, I'm not saying they aren't going to be good series. I'm not going to saying the Avs. I'm not saying the Avs aren't going to lose a game. But I don't think it really matters. But watching the way that these two teams have played, and I guess Nashville hasn't been that much better. I mean, like Dallas, yikes. That's about as hard as you can back into the playoffs. There's zero reason why they should have made it, given the 2-week stretch. If
Vegas could win a shootout, they probably wouldn't have.
If Vegas could score a goal in a shootout.
True enough.
I just
single goal.
Dallas gave them every opportunity to get in.
Yep, and they just choked it away.
And neither team would take it. And eventually Dallas just fell into it. I don't have any faith that Dallas is going to beat Anaheim tonight. So yeah, I think
it's Dallas.
That's where it lands.
All right, gear up for that series with. Tyler Sagan's good, I guess. Miro Heiskanen's dope.
Robertson's real sick.
Robertson is having a hell of a year.
Matt Duchene.
Yeah, don't show anybody that signature on that.
I like their goalie.
Ottinger.
Yeah,
he's cooled off a little bit in the second half, but yes, he's still very much legit.
I'm more of I just love the shirts. The little otter shirts.
Those are very
They're
adorable.
great. Yeah.
That's why.
Oh my God. We're now the cute podcast, confirmed.
Those shirts are great.
You won't hear any argument from me. Cute shit's amazing. I love it.
That's the. I just wish the Avs did a little bit more of that type of stuff, because that was like a really fan drawing.
With the cute stuff they do.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like it's actually where I think we kind of come in. It's like the community stuff
for sure.
Well, like they do a really good job being involved in the community, but it's just that type of little stuff where it's like, everyone would buy a shirt like that. Nope. Golf polos and hoodies only. The pro shop. Or the gift shop.
Did Blaze send in bets, or are we fending for ourselves out here?
They didn't have Francouz. I was going to take Frankie over on saves, but they've got Fleury at over 27.5 is even money. So I like that a lot. And then the hard part about this one in terms of like picking bets for this game is I have no idea what's going on in this game.
I don't really.
We still don't even have an official lineup.
Is Ben Myers playing?
Yeah, I'm going to take the over, like for sure. The over 6.5 at -110. That's an easy take.
Yeah, this game's gonna be wild.
And the Avs are plus 135 on the money line. I may take that just because we've seen Florida do it twice this week. Like, there's just been a couple of games where teams have been sitting guys, and they come out on the right side on the a very good end of it. So I don't remember the last time I got Avs at plus money. So I'm going to take that, the over, and then Fleury over 27.5.
No Makar, that means that Devontae's point is like borderline guaranteed. So,
if they're going to score.
Yeah, right. So the mantra on the Avs the last 5 or 6 games has been like, maybe bet on some other game.
Yeah.
But we're trying to give you some decent options at the very least. Either way, we are closing in on 10 minutes of puck drop here. So we are going to wrap things up for this pregame. We will be live postgame as well. Depending on how the game goes, we might be reviewing the whole season in this postgame. We'll see.
Halfway through the game, we may just turn on the pod and
let's get this
start
done
reviewing the season and
get out of here. Either way, please tune in after the game. We'll be there breaking everything down for you. It's the last time this regular season. You might as well come have some fun with us. Other than that, we've got some stuff planned this weekend.
All the shows from here get really intense and emotional, and
this is the last casual one.
That was I actually almost even and I love doing these shows here. I think they're way better. But I almost messaged you guys let's just do this remote, just to have the night where it's
I debated saying we should do it
because we got the drafts going in Studio A, and it's just have a nice night, keep the blood pressure nice and low, enjoy the evening, because after this, it's white knuckle for 2 months.
All the way through.
Yeah, dude, it was the San Jose Vegas game. Last week, we're watching it, I started getting a little, just because the game was intense. Just because the game was intense, and I started getting a little bit of the butterflies, and it was so exciting. I was so jealous of the Nuggets guys last week because we've been sitting through these meaningless games
for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks now, and the Nuggets guys, it went poorly, but on the edge of their seats and all that stuff, and I'm so excited for that. But yeah, this is the last calm, fun podcast of the year.
Do you shoot left?
I do.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
The correct way. Yes.
So I'm a lefty, but I would shoot left. So I'm actually I do it the American way, not the Canadian way.
So your dominant hand left.
Yeah,
so
my
you're
dominant
actually
hand,
supposed to shoot righty.
I know, but I wouldn't.
Well, and it's funny because your dominant hand is supposed to be on top.
Yeah, but I grew up playing baseball. So.
Yeah. Well, no, but everyone thinks it's backwards. Everyone thinks that your dominant hand should be on the bottom.
Anytime you're doing one hand on the stick,
right?
Though,
Yeah. No, and that's 100% it. It always makes me laugh. I was oh, well, I'm right-handed, so I should be a righty. It's no, actually not.
Hockey do be like that sometimes. Anyway, we're going to get out of here. Thank you for watching the pregame show, and we will talk to you after the game.